Welcome to the Advise Show, media with a common sense approach. So 13-year-old Tyre King was killed by the police. Now, he was accused of being involved in a robbery, and someone called on him. The police went to chase him when they tried to engage him as being a suspect in a robbery, and it ensued from there. Let's go roll the clip.
911 call detailed the drama, an armed robbery on Wednesday night.
This man just had a gun on this white dude on the street.
According to authorities, after a short chase, a responding officer opened fire on one of the suspects when he reached for a gun. Today, police confirmed that 13-year-old Tyre King was shot at the scene and killed, and that weapon authorities recovered was a BB gun similar to this one, bearing close resemblance to real service weapons used by Columbus police. A second suspect confirmed to local media that King was involved with the robbery. The officer involved, who is white, has been identified as Brian Mason, a 9-year veteran on the force. He was cleared of wrongdoing in another fatal shooting from 2012.
He does have a history of following policy. That's why he was out there, because he still has that great record. This is not something that we're going to take lightly with regard to his future.
Tyre King's death generated immediate comparisons to that of 12-year-old Tamir Rice, killed by Cleveland police while also carrying a toy gun, setting off nationwide protests. According to the Washington Post, since the start of 2015, police across the country have been involved in at least 60 deadly shootings of people with toy guns.
Why is it that a 13-year-old would have nearly an exact replica of a police firearm?
Columbus officials say they have reached out to community leaders, urging for calm and patience while the investigation continues. Meantime, King's family has retained a law firm to conduct a separate probe.
It's about actually making sure that we have transparency in these investigations and that we find out the truth.
Well, and Mike, this started with a report of an armed robbery a couple of blocks away from where we are now. But eventually, suspects and police on a foot chase came crashing through this fence in the backyard of a home on Hoffman Street, down this alley where shots were fired. And witnesses were on 911 throughout it all.
They right here in this car about to drive off in this black car in the alley. They jumping over the fence.
Witnesses said a group of suspects had split up and police were chasing some of them on foot.
He's shooting them. Oh my God! Oh my God, they shooting!
Police say one of the suspects pulled a gun from his waistband.
We found a gun at the scene near the suspect that we were trying to apprehend, and this is what that gun looked like.
It was a BB gun that looks a lot like the gun that Columbus police carry. The suspect shot and killed was 13-year-old Tyre King.
And a 13-year-old is dead in the city of Columbus because of our obsession with guns and violence.
The fact that it's a police-involved shooting of a young black male makes this story of national interest, and many are urging patience, including an organizer here with the People's Justice Project.
Let's not rush to judgment and frame a narrative based on what's been given to us. Let's find out what those kids were doing, and execution is not the answer to a robbery.
Now is not the time to run around with fake guns. I don't care if you go into the park and play. I don't care if you are going to be committing a robbery, like in this case, which is a crime. You should not be running around with a fake gun if you are a black person. Unfortunately, we do not live in a time where we can wear whatever we want, and we also don't live in a time where we can carry anything that even halfway resembles a gun, because we're making ourselves targets. See, the thing is, I want to feel sorry for this kid because I have a brother that's the same age as him, but at the same time, he was out committing a crime. So how can I really feel, like, I feel bad that it was a child that was killed, but at the same time, if you're going to go out there and commit a crime, you kind of have to deal with the consequences of your actions.
You know, I have a son as well. He's going to be 12 actually next week. And I talk to him a lot about, you know, stories like this. And this is why I've never bought him toy guns. And I know some of you may say, yeah, but I see these white kids, they be with their fathers and take all these pictures with guns. Well, you know how it is for us as black people. We better look funny and they're ready to shoot us. Now, with this situation, he was out thugging. So we need to ask the question, what was he doing out that time of night thugging? First and foremost, it was a school night. He should have been at home. And even if it wasn't a school night, he should have been at home. He shouldn't have been out on the street. Why is he walking around with a BB gun that looks close to a police weapon? He robbed the man for $10. $10. When the police approach him about it, they run. And, you know, if they see any kind of weapon shoot, they'll shoot you if they see a cell phone these days. You know this. Well, how many stories have we done like this? And we can't come out and defend this one. I mean, trust me, I would love to defend this child much as possible, but I can't do it because he's just in the wrong. And if we come out with, you know, Black Lives Matter and all these other groups trying to defend him, what kind of message are we sending to other children to say it's okay to do some thugging and then we're going to come and defend you? You may be dead and gone. You won't know nothing about the defending. You're going to be a hashtag. And most time you're a hashtag, you're dead. You're not here anymore. Now, we as parents got to make sure to be a hold of our kids. Where's this boy father at? That's what I'm curious about. Because I know as a father, you have to get a hold to your son. You have to talk to your son. You have to let your son know the experience of the black man in America. And it's a different experience than everybody else. That's what I try to do. I tell my son a whole lot of things because I don't want him to grow up in this world as a black man and not have the experience in wisdom to go through it. And for sure, I don't want my son out here thugging. Because when you're thugging, either the guy could have killed you because maybe he was a concealed carry holder. You don't know. The police maybe not would have shot you. Or, you know, a police going to get you or he would have end up in jail. I mean, as parents, we got to get a hold of our kids early. We got to get them in line. If our kids are around people we know is some little thugs, we got to say, oh, hell no. You staying in this house. You ain't being around that little hoodlum because you going to end up getting in trouble. Or some kids are easily influenced to do things. So maybe this kid, you know, he was in the 8th grade. Maybe he wasn't one to get in trouble. We don't know. We don't know anything about this kid. But this stuff could have been prevented because there ain't no way he should have been having some BB gun that looked like that. And then he think it's okay to go rob people. That was just a recipe for disaster all the way around. Like I say, for me, I feel sorry for the child losing his life. I feel sorry for his parents. But if it was me as a parent, I would feel more guilty than anything because I would feel that I failed my son and I didn't protect my son from going out on the street and being a thug. We defend this. We see all these murders, you know, in 5th Ward here in Houston and Acres Homes and Sunnyside. And, you know, we see all this stuff in Chicago, you know, the same kind of age group doing these crimes. And we just can't defend this. You know, we dealing with two wars. We're dealing with a war within our own community a lot of times and dealing with the war outside our community. And we have to, as parents, get a hold of our children and be parents. Don't be their friend, because being a friend, letting them talk to you any kind of way, is a lot of problem too. You know, we were talking about a lot of old school stuff the other day with a few guys, and you know, the kids these days just get away with murder. I couldn't be outside that time of night. When the street lights came on, I better be in the house or it's gonna be a problem. But these kids don't have rules like that. And you know, you have a parent who's a single parent working with these kids long hours to take care of them. A lot of times they're unsupervised. And this is why we always say we need to have 2-parent households, because we need the mother and the father. And fathers are more than a doggone paycheck or a child support check. He needs to be there to protect his sons. I mean, period. Because, you know, this stuff can be prevented. And I don't want to see another young brother lose his life like this or getting caught up with some thugging and just be a part of this slave plantation called a prison industrial complex. I mean, we got to prevent this, you know, people. We have to. Hit me up in the comments, future commentaries, subscribe.